So Superman Red Son is a DC Superman animated movie of a what if story, as in, what if Superman landed in Soviet Russia rather than Kansas of America? That was the whole thing. That's all I actually really knew about it. I went into this movie kind of going into a bit fresh, not knowing really anything about it. I didn't know if it was good from any hearing, didn't hear any buzz on it. So I kind of went into it really fresh. I only picked up the Blu-ray because I got it for like €8 or something like that on Amazon. I got it really cheap, so I said, you know what? I'll take the hit. I'll buy the movie. I'll see if I'll watch it. I found the movie to be okay. The animation is something that I was kind of surprised by because I have seen some DC anime movies, but I hadn't seen any in so long. So sitting down and it came on, it reminded me of early Ben 10 from the early 2000s, as well as like other kind of early 2000s Cartoon Network TV shows. It reminded me very much of that. The animation did not blow me away at all. I was kind of expecting it to be a bit better than what it was, just because it's DC. It's a 2020 animated movie. I was expecting it to be a bit more better than it is. Like if you look at characters in the background, if they're not being used, they're kind of just frozen in plain sight rather than having any image whatsoever, which I wasn't really a massive fan of that kind of animation. You kind of think in this day and age they'll put a bit more effort into the background and animation rather than just kind of having them as literal just pictures. So I don't know if this was hand drawn. There's a very high chance this could have been a hand drawn animation just by the way it looked at the very front, but of the animation of this movie, which for an animated movie I really wasn't that impressed with. And there's a few battles in this movie, not a massive amount, not loads of battles, but there's a few. Like we got one with Superior Man, who I thought that battle itself was pretty interesting. The stakes weren't massive because it was only midway through the movie, so I knew nothing massive was going to happen. There was a battle as well, Brainiac. I thought that was entertaining enough. As well, you got some load of cameos throughout this movie, and a lot of them I wasn't really expecting to see. We got a cameo from Batman, who I thought Batman this movie was probably the best part. I know it's kind of a generic thing to say Batman's one of the best parts in the movie, but genuinely I actually thought his character arc in this movie was better than Superman's character arc. As well, Wonder Woman she's not in there much, and she's kind of a bland taste. She doesn't really add much to the movie. I think if she wasn't there I wouldn't really cared personally. And you got Green Lantern. He's not a massive character, but he's a nice little sprinkle on top as well. You do have Lois Lane and Lex Luthor. The way they're in this movie, I think the only way they're married in this movie, and it's really weird to know that these two are married. I think the only reason they are married is to have them both in the movie and keep them both there because it takes place over multiple decades. So I think the only reason to have them married was so they can actually be there for throughout the decades and have a plausible reason. Because Lex Luthor's there because he's going up against Superman, but make no sense why Lois Lane is tracking this story for decades. So a way to do that is to have her marry Lex Luthor, so she's genuinely just there. So I thought that idea of having constantly keeping Lois Lane in the picture, it was a good way of doing it. But I also just kind of weird that Lex Luthor and Lois Lane is married. It's kind of a weird idea. And this movie is 15s in Ireland, which I think probably means it's an R-rated movie in America, and they use that really well. Well, not really well, but there's a lot of scenes, like I actually didn't know it was 15s. I kind of just assumed it was PG because it was an animated movie. And as I was playing out, it's a very bloody movie, and there's some very shocking scenes. Superman in particular does some really, really shocking things for something I wasn't really expecting going into this movie. Seeing Superman do these kind of things, and even though he is Superman, like he's not really the Superman we know, but there's still elements that you can see that he still kind of has that mindset, and that he still at deep down kind of is a good man. And I was kind of, there's some scenes at the very start, not really towards the end, but there still is scenes that proves that Superman still is a good man. So Superman Red Son, I thought the start was really boring and I kind of didn't really keep my interest for the first half of the movie. But the second half, I think once kind of things started kicking off, I think the build up was really boring, but then once it started going, it did not really stop for me and it kind of kept my interest going. So I think in recommendation, I would recommend it. I don't kind of recommend you actually buy the Blu-ray. I don't think I really have any ambition to go back anytime soon to actually watch this. I imagine I will go back eventually and watch it, but at the moment I don't really have any interest. I think Superman, he was alright, he was good in the movie. For a Superman movie, I thought he might have been a bit better. Wonder Woman, I could have taken her or leaving her, but Batman, as I said, was the best part about this movie for me personally. I just really enjoyed his character story, his character growth throughout this movie, and for someone I really was not expecting to see in this movie, he really did make this movie for me, and I would have actually enjoyed more Batman, even maybe I wouldn't mind a Batman movie in this kind of element. I don't know if there's a comic book based off it, but if there isn't, I still wouldn't mind a movie in this kind of vein of Batman, the circumstances, because I thought his character was, I actually really did enjoy his character within this movie. So if you actually have seen Superman Red Son, let me know your thoughts on the movie in the comments down below. Click that subscribe button if you're new to my channel, so you want to see other movie reviews and rankings, just kind of like this kind of movie review, just kind of simple one like this. So if you like all these kind of stuff, do click that subscribe button. And as always, thanks for watching.